And we're
Good morning, fabulous Las Vegas, Nevada.
yay.
That is like one of my favorite Robin Williams movies.
Oh, Good Morning Vietnam. That's a great movie.
I do love that movie. And, it kind of speaks to my generation because my generation, oh, I got to make that stop doing that thing. Right. Oh, and that too. Oh, much better. Um, Yeah, I mean, my generation is the Vietnam generation. I missed um I missed Vietnam by 3 days. My number was due to come up. It was 1974. I had just turned 18 and I had registered and my number was due to come up and um I was I was halfway to Canada. I was hitchhiking up the California coast, and I had just gotten into Oregon. I was in Ashland, Oregon, which has become one of my favorite towns. Um, and they have a fabulous Shakespeare festival every summer. And I and the and Nixon called off the draft, and my number was due to come up in the next few days. Um, there
Wasn't that draft by birthdays?
It was by lottery, but
Oh,
somehow people knew when their number was going to come up. I don't remember the exact.
weird.
I don't remember the exact details of it. I mean, I was 18 years old and very stoned all the time.
Fresh as a daisy.
Yeah, yeah, and
Speaking of stoned, happy Earth Day, everyone.
happy Stoner Day. Uh,
Oh, that's why. Oh, that's what today is. I was like, oh, I didn't realize it was Earth Day. Oh, okay.
and in honor of Earth Day, my pin is Princess Leia with the David Bowie uh, the David Bowie lightning bolt makeup, and it says "Rebel Rebel." I really like that one a lot.
And
Uh,
your TV shirt. It's like a whole vibe.
on my MTV, it's a whole vibe, isn't it? Yeah. So I should be wearing my Who hat. Um, yeah, tomorrow. Um, so so today I'm gonna be recording. And I'm going to start on the screen cap part of my course, which is the big part, and that'll take a couple of weeks. Um, Yesterday was an interesting day. I mean, we went to NAB, me and Rikitty, and I had a cup of coffee in the morning. I had decaf, presumably. I mean, I order decaf, and I never know if they're actually going to pour that. And I had lots of energy throughout the day until I, crashed in the afternoon. I had not gotten a lot of sleep the night before, and also I had started my new medication in the morning, and I went and I had a cup of coffee, and so last night I just had a lot of trouble sleeping, and my heart's going boom, 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 and I think it wasn't decaf. I think it wasn't decaf. That happens sometimes. So I may have an extended nap in the afternoon, but I'm planning to get a bunch of recording done today and this evening. That is the plan. In other tech news, the the SpaceX Starship rocket the Starship module atop what I think they call the BFD rocket or something like that. It's the really big rocket. Um, it launched this morning. They were supposed to do one orbit and then crash into the ocean. It was unmanned. And it did what we call in the rocket business a rapid unscheduled disassembly. Kirsten,
Doesn't have a nice ring to it. Doesn't sound good.
Kirsten knows what that means. Tell us,
Only
Kirsten,
by
what is it? What is a rapid unscheduled disassembly?
I only know what it means by default. I initially thought when you said that when rockets go up, I know you know all the technical terminology for it, but this is dance major in college terminology because the rocket goes up, there are things that are supposed to fall off. So when you said rapid unscheduled disassembly, I was like, oh, maybe like the things that needed to fall off were unsynchronized.
Yeah, but would that be rapid? That would be
The
unscheduled.
rocket's going really fast, so I figured that's where the rapid came from.
I see. Yeah, a rapid unscheduled disassembly is it blowed
Which
up.
I now know is explosion.
Yeah, it blowed up. And I laugh. I mean, this is really high tech experimental technology, and I've seen some of their other test burns where they're either just going to go up 100 meters or a couple thousand meters and come back down, and there's been some other tests of this stuff that have rapidly unscheduledly disassembled, and I've seen some of those videos, and it's fun. I mean, blowing shit up is always fun. Blowing up things that cost millions and hundreds of millions of dollars is even more fun. So there's that.
Wonder who's paying for that.
That's all part of SpaceX. I mean, whoever's paying for SpaceX, those guys burn a lot of money. And yeah. All right. So that's actually all I got today. Let's do this little game. We'll start with Rikitty. What does Earth Day mean to you?
Good question. I mean, I recycle. I go out of my way to recycle.
So what is
Because
that?
Vegas doesn't really do recycling water bottles and cans, but California does. So I may or may not, on a scheduled basis, drive giant trash bags full of bottles and cans all the way to recycle in California. So I guess Earth Day to me means recycling.
Okay,
I'm not sure. There's only so much that each human can do, and the only thing you can do is your best. I love nature. I like being a part of nature. I've always embraced that, and I try not to be wasteful with my actions. Most everything I purchase is has been resold to me, so it's getting a second life that way.
yeah, that's the reuse part of
Reuse, reduce, recycle.
yeah, reuse, reduce, recycle. And you notice that recycle is at the end of that
Yep.
because it's really the least efficient of the three.
Yep.
And yeah. So I mean, you notice that I reuse a lot of jars and stuff and bags and things. I try to do that here. But that's good. Recycling, I mean, finding a way to actually recycle, because recycling in Vegas is bullshit.
Yeah.
It really isn't real. And I put everything in the recycle bin, and I try and do the best I can. But actually, the city of Las Vegas last year at some point they tweeted about washing your recycling before you throw it in the thing, and I went, so you're asking us to waste water so that you can decide whether or not you're even going to recycle the damn thing? And I'm like, no, we live in the desert. We don't waste water in the desert. This is why recycling is such a farce here, and it may be in other places too. Recycling is incredibly difficult to do, um, uh, and um, it takes a lot of energy. They got to sort through all the stuff. They have to break it all down into its chemical parts, and then remanufacture. I mean, it's even when it happens, it's almost pointless. And I don't mean to, I mean, we all recycle because it makes us feel good, but the reuse, like you say, you buy in the used stuff. Um, I should probably do more of that. I could learn from the kitty. All right,
Meow.
Kirsten, what does Earth Day mean to you?
So yesterday, my oldest came home from school and he had an Earth Day scavenger hunt. And it's been really rainy and humid and gross here. Like the sun is out, but it's pouring rain. So the air is just like thick and sticky and gross. So being outside has not been
I
my
didn't know
favorite.
you lived in Houston.
I know, right? Only if I ever meet Beyonce, I will have any claim to that part of Texas.
We'll
Um,
cross our fingers and toes.
but as soon as they got home from school yesterday, the rain stopped, the air got a little less thick, and the sun just came out completely. And so it was perfect timing because that meant we got to go outside, run around the neighborhood, and find all of the things on the scavenger hunt. So it was a lot of fun, especially because my youngest broke his arm recently. And so he's been all casted up and on, bed rest and activity. Um,
And perhaps mopey.
Only the first few days. He's definitely cheered up a whole lot. Now that he went from a full cast to like a half cast below his elbow. But yeah, so it was just for me, Earth Day. I know it was yesterday because we won't get to today because it's rainy and gross again. But just getting to go outside, we got to bother our neighbors, ask them if they'd help us with the scavenger hunt. So it was a lot about getting us out in the air when the weather allowed it and bringing people together.
Yeah. So going out in the rain does not figure into your Earth Day festivities.
No, because when I think Earth Day, I think like sunshine and hippies and rainbows and butterflies, and none of that happens while it's raining.
I'm a
The
bona
rainbow,
fide hippie.
the rainbows come after the rain. But yeah, just like going outside, like if it had still been raining, I was not about to like get strapped up to go do this scavenger hunt. I was just gonna be like, oh, look out the window. We can see flowers and trees. Here's some binoculars.
At nature outside while we hide from it in our, these conversations always remind me of the Beatles song Rain. When the rain comes, you run and hide your head. You might as well be dead when the rain comes. when the
That's a
sun,
good song.
when the sun shines, you slip into the shade, sip your lemonade. When the sun, John Lennon, he was very cynical. Um, so it's actually musically, it's one of my all-time favorite Beatles songs. The beat and the rhythm and the harmonies. It's if you can find it. It wasn't released initially. It wasn't even released in the U.S. for a long time, um, and it didn't even come out in the U.S. until after the Beatles were broken up. But it's definitely one of my all-time favorite.
It's a Momo.
We have some Earth Day festivities going on in that box. Oh, it's an orange kitty.
He must have walked past me like this. He just keeps doing it back and forth. Like
He just wants to be.
He sees that's where the energy is. That's where the attention is, and he wants to be part of that.
Yeah, he sure does.
That must be the really good shit.
Yeah, I guess so. So, when I was, I think I was about 12, for Earth Day, the company my dad worked for at the time was giving out these little plants, these little tree seedlings, and encouraging everybody to plant them. And I loved it. I loved it so much. I took my seedling, and there was a hill across the street from my house, and I went there and I planted it. And I would go every other day or so and water it a little bit. And it was growing. It was actually, I was like watching myself make a difference in real time as a kid. And it was so special to me. And it was growing. And one of the other neighbors came and put like little bricks all around it so that it would be kind of a little more pretty or protected or whatever. And I was like, oh, how cool. Like now this is kind of a community thing. Like, look at that. And it was very meaningful to me. And by 6 months later, it had really grown and I was even more excited. And then somebody who I guess hated Earth and themselves and everybody on the planet clipped it with like scissors, just cut it in half. And I was traumatized. I was so upset about that. I was so mad. I was like, I can't believe somebody cut down my little baby pine tree.
Did it grow back?
No, not that I ever knew. They like really, they really messed it up.
Oh, that's horrible.
Uh-huh.
Republicans.
Someone do that.
I don't know who would do that, but I don't know. I don't know who would do that. It was awful.
That
But
is.
I went and I saw the little top part like completely cut off from the bottom. I was so heartbroken. So this kind of turned me off of, I haven't like tried to plant many trees since, and I have a black thumb. Like my whole family has a green thumb. My mom, my grandma, my great grandma, they were all able to grow beautiful plants from anything. And I kill every plant I try to grow, so I don't even try.
Yeah, I have never, that has never been part of my Earth Day events. I'm not a plant person. People will buy me plants, they die. Somebody bought me a cactus once, and you're only supposed to water it like once every couple of years, and it died.
Mhm.
Yeah, I imagine, if I were to apply my scientific mind, I could figure out how to be good at plants, but it's just never really been on my radar,
Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree with that. They're finicky. Those
Yeah.
cactuses are finicky, okay? They are finicky.
My brother-in-law, my sister's husband, he's like totally into growing succulents. And he's got, a million different varieties of succulents around their property. And he goes out and he tends them and he does the gardening, and it's like a thing for him. And he loves it. And I respect that. It's
Definitely.
definitely.
Anyone who can keep a plant alive is, I mean, good on them because I can't do it.
All right. So thank you all for joining us on this fabulous Earth Day. And it is our time together today has drawn to a close. We appreciate you, we love you, and we will see you tomorrow, same time, same platforms. Bye.
Bye.